Happy Black History Month 2021. I am Robin Sanders, and this is my mini me right here, Lyric Sanders. And I have her joining us today because guess what? It is Black History Month, the start of it, and the theme is what? Black family. So because of the COVID situation, we are here in the comfort of our own home, joining you guys. So we're just very excited to be able to do this. We know that this has been unprecedented times for everyone. And typically we would be there on the Miami-Dade campus, sharing with you guys, dancing and doing poetry and rapping and singing. But we're doing something a little bit different. And we're really grateful for this opportunity to be able to still hang out and celebrate and kick off the start of Black History Month with you all. So again, it's Black family and it's representation, identity, and diversity. And we're here in our home. We're safe. We are just enjoying our time together. It's been really unique, different and unique this time around. I guess we're almost a year into COVID. And the really cool thing about it being this theme being Black family is we have spent an extended period of time in the home together. So for my family, some families decided to send their children back to school. For our family, we were fortunate enough to be able to work from home. And we have a unique type of work schedule. So our family is able to be in the home together. And because of the safety risk of going to school, we decided to keep all of our children at home. So it has been a really unique situation. So as we think about the theme being Black family, representation, identity, and diversity, and we're in this unique COVID situation where people are at home and they're working from home and everybody's in the house together and time spent together is just more extensive. Life is just really different. The landscape of our lives has really changed since COVID started. And we know there's a lot of ideas about how Black families are made up and how they're formed and what they look like. So from your perspective, Lyric, being in this family in COVID, how have things changed your perspective about family, given our present conditions and how life has changed for you? How has this time changed your perspective about family?
I think like before, when we always like used to move around, like when we were like not in COVID, we was always like going and going and going and going and going. But I think it kind of like switched to like it's really, really necessary to spend time with like people around you, especially since people been like dropping like flies, you got COVID, you got all these things taking place and people are leaving before you can even like say goodbye. So I think it's like before I didn't really notice it, but it's like really essential to like be with people, like be with people who you love. Cause like during these times, like people can be gone like that. Like
that's right.
People can just be there in one day and then the next day
they're gone. Yeah. And so we are actually transplants here. We come from, I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas, and she was born in Memphis, Tennessee, and her dad is from Memphis, Tennessee. So we are like a Southern Black family where I have like 30 plus cousins. My mother has 10 other brothers and sisters. My dad has 12 other brothers and sisters. So we come from a really big family. And so we're used to like, you know, all the holidays and time just spent where? Where do we spend our time? Memphis and Little Rock, but at whose house? At Grandma's house. We are used to being at Grandma's house all the time. That's where we do 4th of July. That's where we do, well, we kind of canceled 4th of July. Like
we're doing Juneteenth.
But, you know, before we got woke. But now that we woke, we canceled 4th of July. But we do Juneteenth now. But yeah, Juneteenth and any holidays, Christmases or birthdays, funerals, wherever, the central place was Grandmama's house. And I think the way that COVID has changed the landscape for a lot of families, and particularly the Black family, is we were just accustomed to doing things. I know in the South, we were used to being at Grandmama's house. And COVID did two things because the elderly are more at risk. It kind of restricted that. And then the massive nature of the gatherings, they just become a lot smaller. And so you made a really valid point in saying that, man, it's when you get to be with your immediate family, you realize how vital those times are to be with your family. The one thing that I wanted to talk about, and which we're going to speak a little bit on in our video that's coming soon, is mental health within the Black community, and mental health, and how family plays such an important role in helping us to maintain just sanity a lot of times. Now I know some family relationships can be toxic. You know, you got that one auntie and that one uncle that just be doing the most .gov. But in a large part, the Black family has been really central in terms of support, in terms of like providing support and being able to just uplift one another and build that sense of purpose and worth. And so that's the one thing that we can say has been really, really vital and central and characteristic of the Black family. I just want to read a little bit of what this year's theme, 2021 Black History theme, the Black family, representation, identity, and diversity. It says, the Black family has been a topic of study in many disciplines, from history, literature, visual arts, film studies, sociology, anthropology, and social policy. It goes on to say the Black family knows no single location, since family reunions and genetic ancestry searches testify to the spread of family members across nations and continents. Not only are individual Black families diasporic, but Africa and the diaspora itself have been long portrayed as the Black family at large. While the role of the Black family has been described by some as the microcosm of the entire race, its complexity as the foundation of African American life and history can be seen in numerous debates over how to represent its meaning and typicality from a historical perspective, as a slave or free, as patriarchal, as matriarchal, matrifocal, as a single-headed or dual-headed household, as extended or nuclear, or as fictive kin or blood lineage, as legal or common law, and as Black or interracial, etc. That was a whole lot. And it says variations appear as well in discussions in the nature of impact of parenting, childhood, marriage, gender norms, sexuality, incarceration. The family offers a rich tapestry of images for exploring the African American past and present. So that said a whole lot. That said like some like college level stuff, right? But essentially, what we learn from here is that the makeup of the Black family is not all one way. Now, typically, you have, you know, mother, daughter, father, sister, brother, those types of things. But I think in the Black family, man, it's really expensive. Like it goes on to be like play cousins, right?
People you don't even really know.
People that you don't even really know. Funny story. I have so many uncles and aunts that are not like necessarily my uncles and my aunts because, you know, they're not blood, but they've been in the family for so long that they're like blood. So do any of you have those types of experiences? If you do, then just put it in the chat. Like, do you have like a close friend that became like a cousin, or like a person that is like you never even knew that you weren't related, and then you look up and you're like, wow, we're not even related, but they've just been in your life for so long. And I think that's the beauty of the Black family. What the Great Migration and the institution of slavery has done to the African American family is caused us to migrate from like southern regions and even those East Coast kind of coastal cities, and moved us all across the continent, honestly. And the Black family is expansive. It's not just here. I mean, I think we've been spread all of, I know we've been spread all across the world. We see a lot of times where we have like people that'll be Black or brown, and then they'll be like Spanish speaking, or they'll be Creole speaking. And then from the just looking at them, you feel like, oh, you think that they're like African American. But that speaks to the beauty of the African or the Black family, that it is huge and it's expansive and it covers continents and it covers all the states, and the migration has caused us to kind of spread. Now in the South, where I'm from, like I know this is South Florida, but in the South, we have like cousins for days. like cousins for days. It's so amazing when I take my daughter lyric back home, she's always meeting cousins. Always, like, right? Always meeting cousins, like always meeting cousins that she's never met before. And that's kind of the beauty of it. Can you explain, like, can you talk to us just like what a Black family gathering sometimes? And now listen, we know Black families are not a monolith, right? They come in all different shapes, all different sizes. They're made up all different, and it's traditional and non-traditional alike. So I don't want to dare give the impression that it is one way. But talk about some of your fondest memories in family.
Let me think. Oh, we had a celebration for my uncle after he passed away, but it was like a really, really, like the whole block was there. Like we were, it was, I think it was really fun. We had like my dance team, we had dance, and that was fun. I was like in the 3rd grade, I think. It was like a really big, like, I'm talking about like everybody from my grandma's house, like everybody, like the whole block, like everybody was there. I think that was one of my like.
And I think that's the beauty of how Black family works. You have literally, I remember that event. My uncle passed away from diabetes, complications from diabetes and congestive heart failure. R.I.P. Uncle. His birthday was yesterday. Passed away. Someone said they love your nails. Thank you, Nicole. We get them done at Optima. Shout out to our friends because they like family too. Like, it's expensive. Optima Nails. Yes, go right. If you're in Homestead, go to Optima Nails. They kill it. But it's time for us to get our nails done, so don't look too close. Okay. And you know what? Our girls' date, like for us, our time together is going to get our nails done. So talking about Black family, is you got to take those times. Like, we go and get our nails done. But we were talking about my uncle. Let's stay focused. Stay focused. Talking about my uncle, and it was a huge celebration. And it was the whole block, literally the whole block came out. And you know why the whole block came out? Because my grandmother is like the neighborhood matriarch. She is like the grandmother. She is the grandmother to the whole neighborhood. And so everybody knows Miss Sally. Miss Sally's been on that corner forever. The corner of 6th and Kimball, she has been there forever. You can still find her there today. And you can drop in at any point and get a hot plate of food and sit down and get the tea on what's happening in the whole entire neighborhood. But that particular day that you're talking about, man, it was so many people there to celebrate the life of my uncle. And that's kind of the beauty of what we see in the Black family. It's composed of joy and pain. It's composed of some beautiful stories, some hard stories. And really what this month is about, it's really about reshaping the narrative of how we see Black families. I was able to see a clip of Cicely Tyson, rest in peace. She died on January, I think, 28th, last Thursday. Just an iconic figure, groundbreaking work. And you'll see later where we're going to have a tribute to Miss Cicely Tyson. But one of the things that she said that just stuck out, and I can't believe that she lived 96 years. That means like she lived in Jim Crow, like she lived in like the thick, like we think we're seeing an uprising now. She lived in the thick of things. But one of the things that she said that stuck out in her mind that really influenced her work was this. She said, I ran into a guy, and I forget what role it was. It might have been, I can't remember which role it was. But she said she was playing a role, and I think it's when they played that kind of Depression era African-American family. And in that role, the son called his Black dad daddy. And one of the viewers that got up and kind of asked a question was shocked and said that they had to come be confronted with their own kind of prejudices and racist tropes and stigmas that they had associated to Black families after watching that movie, because they said they watched the movie and they saw the young boy call his daddy daddy. And in their mind, they were a white counterpart and they were like, I call my daddy daddy. How is it that this Black son in a Black family calls his daddy daddy the same thing that I call my white dad? And in her mind, what she understood was there is a lack of humanity that is often assigned to African American families. There are tropes and ideas and stigmas surrounding Black family that makes it even hard for people to believe that we have loving relationships with our parents, with one another, that it's not always just disruption and turmoil. So that particular idea to me was like, wow, that's amazing. And that, in fact, informed all of Cicely Tyson's work. She vowed that I'm going to make sure every role that I play brings dignity to not just Black women, but Black people in general. And so she helped to reshape how the Black family is seen in media and just perceived in reality. Mm-hmm. And when we show this film a little later, you're going to have an opportunity to see some discussion on that. When we start thinking about the Black family, I want you guys to just start thinking about, like, what are some, if you're Black and you're in the chat and you're watching, I want you to start thinking about what type of legacy you want to build for your family. I have a senior, and he's graduating from Homestead. Whoop, 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 whoop. And hopefully June. June, maybe? June, yeah. June, something like that. I have a senior, and he is graduating from Homestead Senior High. And one of the very surreal moments has been watching him get acceptance letters from, come on now, generational wealth, home ownership. That's what I'm talking about, the legacy. Y'all put y'all's legacies in the chat. What type of legacies that you want to do you want to leave for your family? And I was saying, my son, senior in high school, and about to graduate, and my heart kind of breaks for him a little bit, because it's like, oh man, COVID, they don't get to be like at school. And he tried to go back to school, and as soon as he went back to school, within 3 days, his teacher contracted COVID, so they had to go and back into quarantine. Yes, Bronco Pride. Yes, Miss Lawrence. I don't know if I'm saying that right, Zanaya. If I'm butchering it, friend, I love our names. I'm sorry if I'm butchering it. But my son, legacy here. Talking about legacy, he is graduating from Homestead Senior High. The surreal moment for me, okay, I'm telling my age, I'm 41 years old. And so it's surreal to me that my son is getting college acceptance letters, right? But what's even more surreal to me is the fact that we're thinking about the schools that he can go to. And I can say, okay, so your grandmother, she put your nana and your papa, they put up $12,000 over here and $15,000 over there and $7,000 over there. And I'm trying to fix it so that my kids don't have to have the debt that I went into to get an education. Because if you don't know anything about Black life, there is a generational wealth gap that we're working hard to close, right? And the fact that my son is about to go to school, and he can look at a school and go, it's $40,000 a year, and I'm almost on the verge of being like, we trying to work it out so that you don't have to pay for it. But that's the type of legacy. Who is this in the chat? Family, happy Black History. Yes, I love it. So the legacy that I want to leave is quite like what my friend here shared in the chat. I want to leave generational wealth and home ownership. In the middle of a pandemic, we bought our first home here in the city, because we're transplants here. So we bought a home here, and my family has left homes to me. And you know what? That's the legacy. And often that is the story that doesn't get told about the African American family. We don't get to see that. We don't get to see that our babies go to school, right? That's not often the headlines that you get to see, that Black families are sending children to school and they're graduating and they ain't going into debt. And so a part of that legacy is my son. Not even that he's going to school, but he's decided what he wants to do. And now he's got options, right? He's got options. So talking about Black family and legacy, tell us about the school you want to go to and why.
Okay, I have a couple, but my very top is Howard University.
Howard? Wait a minute. Wait, sis. Who graduated from Howard? Who graduated from Howard and is now our VP? Kamala, Miss
Miss
Harris. Okay,
Kamala.
Sis wants to go to Howard. What's another one?
Clark Atlanta is a big one for me.
Clark Atlanta. Sis is keeping it all the melanin popping over here.
Yeah, I only want to go to HBCU. I don't want to. Yeah.
So why is it so important for you to go to a HBCU?
I'm just thinking like if I'm gonna pay all that money and go into that, I'd rather put it back into us than to another corporation who's not, a PWI corporation who doesn't look like us, who's not ran by us. I'd rather put all my money, my efforts. I don't even care if I go into debt, as long as it's going towards something I know is going to go back to the people who look like me, people who's going to benefit girls who look like me. Then I would either put it into that than I would put it.
Sis is Sis spoke a word. Sis said HBCU to the core, right? I didn't have that experience. I didn't have the HBCU experience, but I went to school in Virginia and I really wanted to transfer to Howard. It just did not work out in my favor. I really wanted to go to Howard, and I wanted to go to Howard for probably some reasons that are similar to yours, in that I felt like I wanted to be around people that looked like me. But even if people look like you, there is diversity. Like, there still is diversity, because Blacks are not a monolith, right? We were just in class on yesterday, because I teach dance here in Homestead, West Homestead. I teach dance and theater, and we were sitting in class and a family came in. They look just like us, right? Look just like us, braids, like the whole nine. And what were they speaking? Spanish. But we know that's what the diaspora has done. The diaspora has put Black and brown people all over the world, right? And so the reason I wanted to go to an HBCU is because I wanted to have an education that was specific to my origins, right? Because a lot of times living in this country is like, it's like you feel displaced. You're not American enough for America, but you're not African enough for Africa. And so you're constantly searching. And what the Black family helps to do is, in the midst of that search, gives you a sense of belonging, gives you a sense of identity, gives you a sense of purpose. So, Lyric, I want you to share with me, how has being a part of this family helped to shape your identity?
Well, y'all haven't noticed, we're really Black.
Like black on black. My skin is so black. Oh, I'm sorry.
Like,
everything is black.
Like, I've never been in a space where I didn't know, like, before anything else, I'm Black. Like, that's like, I haven't never forgotten that. And it's kind of shaped me to be like, I never had to struggle with like knowing who I am and like knowing where I come from, because they always made sure I knew it. I never had to struggle with like not knowing where my place, where I fit in, because I've always known that before anything else, I'm gonna be Black. So I think that kind of helped me, especially her, like, with just connecting me back to Africa.
We're at home, y'all. So if you hear babies crying in the back, this is the beauty of Black family. Like, we're home. You hear my little 1-year-old in the back crying. It is what it is. Like, this is what it is. Okay.
Yeah. So I think it's helped me to shape, like, to love who I am most importantly, like, love who I am, because like I know a lot of girls who around me who struggle with like their skin complexion and like not fitting in with the girls around us. Because I used to go to like a lack of color. A lot of my schools I used to go to had a lack of color. It just wasn't a lot of us. It was like 1 or 2 of us in each class. But I never struggled with like that part about like not feeling secure. Because even if I ain't got no friend, I'm like, I'm still gonna feel secure in like where I'm at. And I think they really helped me with that.
And so many times it could go like the opposite way. That you're constantly having to like question your skin. You're constantly having to question your hair. You're constantly having to question your vernacular. You're constantly having to like dumb down cultural things, because in the media, a lot of times it's frowned upon. The way you talk, the way you walk, the way you look, just your hair, it's policed. They have to make court decisions on if it's acceptable or not. And so one of the vital things about family is it helps to shape your identity and helps you to understand. And now some things happen in Black family We learn how to code switch sometimes in Black family. We are told in Black family, don't say this when you're in public, don't act like this, you got to look like this, because a lot of times you are told to do that because you're wanting to be more acceptable or palatable. And in this family, yeah, I make sure that my children understand that there are some cultural differences that may be like averse to who they are, but we don't dim our light for nobody. Like that's a no-no. We are not going to dim our light, and we're not going to dumb it down for anybody, because I feel like as a point of diversity, if we're really going to talk about diversity, we're really going to talk about inclusion, then it's room for all of us at the table. And so here we learn that, there are times when you're going to have to be, professional. But the beauty of who we are, the beauty of the language that we've created from coming and not knowing a language at all into learning how to communicate with each other, that's some ingenuity right there.
Yeah.
And so we make sure.
Having to learn like this is professional. Like I can wear my hair like this and it'd be okay. Because I wouldn't wear this to school before quarantine. Before I got like real confident, I wouldn't wear my hair like this to school.
Can you talk a little bit about like why you wouldn't wear your hair like that though?
I just felt like people would look at it like, oh, it's messy. Oh, she didn't do it. Oh, this and that. Like normally my hair would be tied back in a little puff, gelled down. Whatever.
And you also are a dancer, so you were taking ballet classes, and what was acceptable is a bun. And then we're like, I don't know if you've seen our hair, but
it don't move like that.
Our hair don't move like that. Like we don't get to just like slick our little situation back and, you know what I'm saying, do a little neat, little nice bun. Like our situation is work. So talk about the transition and how being a part of this family has helped you to even embrace the look of your hair.
I think like once I started, like my mom started showing me like what different styles I could do, and like, okay, it's still gonna be cute. Because for a long time, the girls in my school used to wear their hair slicked back, or they could just put in a little ponytail. Like I couldn't do that. I gotta sit there 45 minutes in the morning, 6 a.m. like crying, trying to get it to do what it's supposed to do.
Crying.
I used to cry all the time. I couldn't get my hair together.
Sis, crying. And so, and all of that to like meet a standard. Like this is how your hair naturally grows and you're crying. Now I understand manageable hair, but yeah, I get it. But proceed, sis. And so I think your biggest cheerleader for this was her grandmother. And we don't call her grandmother. We call her Nana. Nana was, yes, it was the unrealistic standard being set by social media and influencers. Absolutely. And we worked so hard to meet those standards. And just being a mom, understanding just it's going to be tough enough sometimes being in this world, in this skin, and almost feeling like you have to just fight to be heard and seen for who you really are beyond this. And I don't want to ignore this. Like, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. But a lot of times you have to like justify it. You have to justify it in certain circles from this to this. It's like you're always having to justify it. So what we thought was going to be imperative is that, no, you're going to learn from day one who you are and the images that you see all the time. If you guys look at my back wall here, like, this picture here is that you can duck, girl, duck. Woo. This picture here is a self-portrait. This one, which way? I'm going this way. Yes. This is this is a portrait that I did of my daughter. And then you see here, and then you've got like over there's like Africa, and then Ruby Bridges up there. And then this was painted by an artist out of Atlanta. And then you can't see it, but like right there, that's a picture in Senegal, and it's called The Door of No Return. A good friend of mine by the name of Marcus, who actually performed last year, was it? Last year or the year before last at Miami-Dade, did a performance there. And he went to Senegal, and this is called The Door of No Return. And this is actually the door that they would go through when they were being exported. Now, they weren't slaves. They were Africans who were being transported and became slaves. All right. So they left. And when they left the coast, of Senegal, this was the door that they often walked to. This right here, this is an actual picture that my friend, my good brother took there, where, oh, somebody calling, yeah, that they actually took, and they were able to, they left there, but they would not return. And so this is why this was called the door of no return. So I'm saying that to say that here in our home and my family, it is so important that they see images. It is so important that they see themselves. So yeah, this is my home. This is what my children are having to be exposed to. And it's a must. It's a must that they learn identity and are exposed here. So we're counting down. We're really counting down so that we can get our special presentation up. I didn't say that earlier, but we have a special presentation that is coming. We worked really hard to get this presentation for you guys, and we're live. We're at home. We're family. Let's see what we got going.
87%.
We are so close. We are so close. We're gonna up. Yeah, we're gonna upload. I mean, not upload it. We're gonna have the video for you all in just a moment. Just bear with us. We're so excited to be with you guys. We're so excited that you guys have just tuned into the chat and been conversing back and forth with us. And so I want to bring in my husband, and again, all about family. And so he's just gonna chat with you guys for a little bit, and we're gonna be able to have the film ready for you guys to watch momentarily. We're so excited. Can't wait for you guys to see it. Thank you guys for joining in the chat and just hanging out with us and making this just a beautiful kickoff to Black History Month. We're going to shift out, and the hubby is going to shift in, and it has been so incredibly real. Again, happy Black History Month 2021. Black family representation, identity, diversity. Black on black, black on black. Ooh, ah. Oh, you missed it? All right.
What's going on? How's everybody doing? I hope you're well. I love the idea that people are jumping in and chatting and just dialoguing with us in this moment. We enjoy having the opportunity to share with you just, things that are happening within our world, things that are happening within our space, and how we use the gifts and talents that we have been blessed with to just communicate truth, talk more about our community and our family and things that are going on. So I have been working along with my video guy, just trying to get a presentation together that we have spent a lot of hours putting together, and it can become extremely frustrating when technology fights against you. But I think the thing that I wanted to engage on was the component of the Black family that involves fathers, right? That involves the dads, and how that portion of it, I wouldn't say gets left out, but there's such a negative stigma that is surrounded by the African-American male and his role within the community and his role within the family. What I do know to be true, no matter what ethnic community you are a part of, that you are always challenged with this idea that when there are no men within a community that are working and serving and loving their community well, that community doesn't do very well. You can see that throughout nations and societies and communities all over the world. That doesn't mean, let me make sure you understand. I'm not sexist. I'm not saying, oh, you can't do it without men. It's just we've seen that in a lot of cases, when men are abdicating their roles and not actually being a part of supporting and loving women and children in their community, that community suffers. That community is usually a community that's dealing with poverty and dealing with a lack of education and so many different things. And so we see those things taking place, but often those things are taking place, and then there's these negative words that are being used to talk about and to harm, I think, the Black male identity. And we see it in all sorts of walks of life. And it has come to the forefront a great deal here in 2020 and over the last 4 or 5 years that we've seen so many different cases of discrimination and racism affecting the African American male. And so they are a big part. I mean, even we go back to slavery time, that was a big part of breaking down a family. There not being a male there, not only to protect and love, but to also provide. And that doesn't mean to this day and time that women are unable to provide, but I definitely believe that men play an essential role in the household, an essential role in serving, an essential role in loving well his family and loving well his community. Without that, our communities suffer a great deal. And so I was excited to be able to talk about the fact that not all Black families are fatherless. Not all Black families have absent fathers, that I get to play a part. Come on in. I get to play a part in loving well my own family and loving well my own children, and being an example. When me and my wife moved here back in 2014, we talked about that. We talked about how pivotal our relationship would be within our community, that we wanted people to see healthy Black families. We wanted people to see Black love, right? And put that on display, because we thought that would be healthy for young men to come up and be able to see someone that loved, cared for, respected his wife, as well as loved and cared for his children, especially in certain cases where they didn't get to see that, or society had played a role in diminishing that Black family and that Black role. I mean, even when we think about things like welfare, like it's like women do better if they don't have a man in the home. And they're giving more resources, they're giving more money. And so you find people kind of working around that ideal of having a male in the home. I remember one time when we, were in a very tough spot in our own lives and relationship. And I remember them telling her, hey, if your husband is not there, then you could get more, you could receive more. And so it's a systematic effort, I believe, to break down the African-American family. And so we've talked a lot about that and what that means to be a healthy family and a healthy community, and how we love one another well, and how us loving one another well is beneficial and serving our community the best way we possibly can.
Yeah.
You finna say something?
Oh no, I was just cheering to Black love and Black family. It's just the narrative. I was looking at a list of movies, 28 movies to watch that didn't deal with Blacks and trauma, and one of those movies was The Photograph. And yeah, one of those movies was The Photograph, and I haven't seen it. I haven't seen The Photograph, and I want to see it, just because a lot of times when we think about kind of all the negative indicators that get associated to Black family, to Black life, it's so important to just preserve, just preserve the beauty. I mean, honestly, when you think about what Black families have endured, when you think about the resilience, someone said it's a must see. When you think about the resilience of Black families, even when they were separated, how much we work to stay together, like how hard we work to stay together. That's a symbol of strength. That's a symbol of resilience. And so, there were times when we contemplated divorce, but what we understood is that we brought children into this world together. that didn't ask to be here. And that was one of the things that we fought for.
But we also understood that there were people watching.
Yeah.
There were people watching us. And know that we didn't live our lives and our marriage for other people, except for the fact that we knew that there was influence. There was an opportunity towards influence, that we felt a responsibility as a couple, that as people are paying attention, not only do we wrestle with things, and not only do we have issues and things that come up in our marriages that we work through, but that's what people need to see. Not that you're putting some facade or some fakeness online to make people believe your situation or your relationship is better than what it is, but that you're saying, hey, we've had hard moments that we had to work through. We've had trying times. We've had moments where we were broke and poor and didn't have things. We've had moments where we walked through very hard and ugly stuff in our marriage that in some cases could have broke it, right? Could have caused us to say we're just going to go our separate ways. But it gave us perspective, so that we could help and speak into the life of other people, and to say to people, you can make it.
You can make it.
You can make it, right? That gave us that story.
Authenticity. Someone said authenticity is the key. Yeah. And I think, and I want to make sure that we make this clear, that Black family, it's all different ways. Like it's not just one way. Our story just happens to be of man and woman together. You know, there are single parent households and there are dual parent households, and there are households with no children. There are Black men with dogs, and you know what I'm saying?
My wife comes from a situation. Her mom and father never married.
No.
But her dad was always
there
in her life. Always.
And statistically, they would say, I'm fatherless.
Yes.
Or I come from a broken home. Right. And I don't come from a broken home. I loved my dad. As a matter of fact, many of the times.
I love her dad.
Yeah, we love my dad.
My dude.
Many of the times when my mom was away in the military, shout out to the veteran, my mother, veteran, 21 years in the U.S. Army. A lot of times when my mom was away pursuing her career, I stayed with my dad. Both my sister and I. And my dad wasn't my sister's biological dad. Right.
He took care
of my sister since she was 3 years old. As a matter of fact, my sister still lives with my dad, and she's 44. And so, so it's just, that just speaks to the end. And I know some people might listen and be like, oh, that's like a hot filet mess. but that's what
it's not. Let me tell you a story real quick, right? Let me tell you a story. So me and my wife was dating, right? I go to visit her, right? And I go to visit her at her dad's house. All right. And so she says to me while visiting her, I think it was during the Christmas Eve, she was like, hey, we're going to go to my grandma's house. And I was like, oh, which grandma? She was like, my mom's mom. I was like, okay, cool, let's go. So we went to her mom's house, right? Now keep in mind, I know that her mom and her dad aren't together. I also know that her mom is married and has a husband. So I'm there, I'm at the house, I'm chilling, sitting on the couch, and I see her father, her biological father, walking up. And the first thought that came to my mind was, what is he doing here? Why would he be coming over her mother's house? They not together? Like, what's going on? So immediately I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be ugly. It's going down, right? Basement. So I'm sitting here, I'm like, because I can see my wife is kind of in the kitchen. She don't know he coming. I'm just there like, oh man, this man about to come to the door. I'm new, right? I'm just meeting this family, but I'm thinking to myself, I need to go stop him. And I say, bro, I don't think you should be here right now. Right. We gonna come see you later, you know. Right. But I don't know what to do. So he walk in, but as soon as he hit the door, people all turn around. I'm talking her grandmother, her mother, her aunts, her cousin, all these people in the house. He come through the door, everybody turn around, Sleepy! You know what I'm saying? They call her dad Sleepy. So everybody is excited that Sleepy has showed up.
That's
and
right.
I'm like,
that's right. Everybody, the little kids, all my cousins, everybody. They're like, wow. On? And my mom, it was mom there?
Yeah.
Mom was there and she hey, what's up, Sleepy? How you doing?
Only to find out that her daddy was in her mama's wedding. I'm like,
my dad
who does that?
Walked me down the aisle in my mom's wedding to my stepdad. But this is the beauty
of Black
of
family.
It's the beauty of Black family.
I didn't get it. My dad left. So it was just my mom and my two brothers for the most part. So I didn't have a large family. It was her family I got to be a part of. It was so large. And listen, there are plenty of aunties that ain't really my wife's auntie, because she never actually married my wife's uncle, but because she was around so long,
that's right.
She's still auntie.
She's still auntie.
Auntie today.
Who?
I'd be like, who? Auntie, what auntie? Who she connected to? He was like, oh, that used to be Uncle Damon's girlfriend.
Right.
True, used to be. What you mean? How she auntie?
We don't let them go.
Do not let them go. So that's how that process works. It's just,
and that's
crazy.
Just our family. That's our family. Yeah. We're not saying that's every single family. That is definitely our family. And I've had just an amazing experience. We have joy. We have pain. Yeah, we have, and it's not any different than anybody else's, but considering how Black families are composed and constructed, you have to wonder, there's going to be some trauma. Yeah, there's going to be some pain. I mean, that's a part of history. And as we begin to go into this kind of period of reckoning where we're seeing, Black families turn, just kind of be restructured and reformed in this awakening in our communities and in the world at large, it's going to be so important for us to be equipped with the necessary tools to talk about and dialogue and see Black family, because it's not one way. There's no one way to do Black family, but there are some constants. There are some things that, are in the foundation of Black families, particularly here in America. So I'm just so honored and so just excited to be able to be a part of this kickoff and just talk about Black and Black family. This is just, Black is my heart. Like I just love it. And we have some new things in the work that are not just, because we're Black 365. We're not just Black in February. And so 365, you feel me? Like a fingertip, right? So we have some other things that's coming up. I'm working on a new production called Love is the New Black. And that is all about retelling and saving and preserving Black narratives so that we don't have to always tell our stories from places of oppression and trauma, but we can tell our story. February is our anniversary. Show is. But we can tell stories just from all perspectives. We can tell lighthearted, fun stories. Yep. We can tell stories about family. We can still tell stories about love and friendship. And that's just the beauty of Black. That's the beauty of Black. So he's sitting here going like, are we ready? Are we ready yet? So we're getting really close. We're getting really close. But so it's been just amazing to just share in this time with you. I appreciate you guys for filling in the chat and conversing back and forth with us in the chat. If you would just kind of give us a shout out of who's in the chat, who's there, who's watching. Are you a student? Have you seen us in the past? Like, we'd love to just get some interaction there on the chat. So just drop any
7T. Is that right?
7T
Vivo.
7TV, TVivo. And then hola, hello, Ada. We gotta work on that. We gotta work on my brother's Spanish for our other Spanish-speaking brothers and sisters, because he be butchering the language. I'm bilingual.
I am bilingual
and stuff. No, trilingual, because I speak a little Creole or whatever. Okay. But we're all connected. Hey, former neighbor, Cheryl Rivera. Cheryl Rivera, former neighbor.
We're former neighbors?
We're former neighbors.
Oh, yeah, I think.
Yes. You think you know? You think you got it?
I think.
Yes? No?
Is that David's wife?
Wait, David's wife. Look at us trying to work out how we know people. We need to get our lives together. Talk to me. Okay, so guys, do this because we've got this film. Yes, Cheryl. Yes, I'm here excited for what's for Women's History. We're gonna do a better job. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. We're gonna do good. So yeah, Ida. Ida. Yes, and who else? We got quite a few people. Y'all continue to just jump into the chat and let us know that you're here. Again, we are excited to have another opportunity just to be here with Miami-Dade. And then next month, we're going to be back doing women's history. So yeah, and that's going to be real exciting, because I think it's beautiful to have Black history and women's history back to back, because it's so rich and so full both times. And who else do we have in here? We had some good dialogue from, let me see here. We had some good dialogue from, I don't want to say this name wrong, Lolisa Torbert. Yes, if I said your name wrong, charge it to my head and not my heart. So when we think about Black family, I just want you guys to kind of, if you have any questions for us, if you have anything that you want to just kind of like get some, want to hear some more about over these next few minutes before we get into the presentation, feel free to just jump into the chat. Hey, let's go, Isaac. Oh, MDC student. Ooh, 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 ooh. So if you guys have any questions for us or anything that you want to ask us or anything that you may be interested or want to learn more about, like what we do outside of just being on lives chatting in the middle of the day, feel free to drop that in the chat. Again, we've had an amazing team that has been working around the clock, and our young people from Out Loud Artistry have been working really, really hard to make this presentation possible for you. So this is just the first part. And so thank you, MDC, for being so gracious and kind with us as we're working through some technicalities and just allowing us to get to know you guys. This is the beautiful thing. We don't get to do this kind of interaction when we are live. So that's a beautiful thing. It's kind of like performance, and then we go home. So this has given us an opportunity to kind of allow you guys to know us. And we feel like we're family here at MDC, because we're 4 Black History Months in. So yeah. So what we looking like? So what we looking like, guys?
It is going up in about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's what we want you guys to do. We are going to hang here. We're going to hang here. The chat will stay open. The chat will stay live as we're going to play some music. And then here shortly, you're going to be able to click. Is it going to be on Out Loud Artistry's page? You're going to be able to click a link. Now, this is what I want you guys to do. I want you guys now, it's a few of us on live. I want you to text your friends. I want you to text them and say, hey, we got, we're going to do this premiere. It's a premiere of Black History 2021, presented by Out Loud Artistry, compliments of MDC. I want you to tell them, okay? I want you to tell them you're gonna want to watch it. This is a good lunchtime food, okay? This is get your people, gather around so that we can all be in this space together. And yes, Miss Davis, it is nice to share this space together. It kind of makes me want to like podcast or something, like, you know what I'm saying? This has been really good. This has been amazing. Thank you, MDC, for allowing us this opportunity. But yeah, I want you to tell all your people to come on, hop on. It's a few of us on here now, but I know Miami-Dade has more students that need to see this goodness, okay? I want you guys to get your friends, tell them it's about to go down. Basement, Nicole Bryant, thank you for being so sweet and so kind and so patient. We wanted to make sure that we had the best product for MDC, because you guys have been just so good to us year after year, inviting us to come back. And we were just really kind of sad because we were accustomed to like being able to jump over there and be live in the courtyard and talk to people and, just kind of be there. Yes, Dr. Bryan is the best. So the fact that we get to do this in this capacity, and you guys have stayed logged on for like this whole time. So just thank you. Thank you guys so much. So here we are. They're working feverishly in the back. And I hope it is well worth it, this presentation. So you're going to have an opportunity to, typically if we were at the campus, we would go get food. I mean, we would have food there to eat, but now your lunch is on you. And then next year, provided things, start acting like they got some sense out here, we can be back together live and in person. So go grab you some lunch, grab you some coffee, text a friend, tell them this thing is going down and y'all need to be watching. So you've got a little bit of time to let them know, okay, that it's about to go down. And again, Miss Dr. Bryant, thank you so much. And everybody else who has just stayed on and chatted with us. Again, we're here. If you have any questions, just let us know. And we're here to answer any questions. If you've got siblings between the ages of, Robin, can you tell us what Out Loud Artistry does in our community? Oh, yes, I can tell you what Out Loud Artistry does. So, and I got another little plug. So I don't know if you guys have like Netflix or Hulu. A part of the work that we do in Out Loud Artistry is we train young performers, and we also utilize the arts as a means of social change. So we use the arts to engage our community. So a part of the work that I do outside of Out Loud Artistry is I'm a writer. And I am a choreographer. And so through Out Loud Artistry, I share those gifts and talents with the young people in our community. And I also run a collective called Spark. And so this collective is a group of young artists. Isaac, if you look in the chat, there's a young man by the name of Isaac Morales, who is also an MDC student, and he's responsible for the presentation. He's a part of the film team. And I forget, Isaac, drop in the chat what you're studying there at MDC. He is, everything okay, Corey? Lamont? Okay. Yeah, he is a part of the team. And so what he has done is help to put this together. But what we do is I work with young artists like Isaac, and I work with young artists like my daughter that you saw here, and I train them and I help them to see the needs in their community and assess the needs in their community, and then you figure out how to utilize the arts to meet those needs. So I mentioned Netflix. This year, at the top of this year, we launched we were a part of a docuseries on Netflix. And guess what, guys? Oh, this is so beautiful. Pause. Isaac Morales is actually studying film at MDC. He's actually studying film at MDC. And the video that you're about to watch has been filmed in part by Isaac. So what he is learning at MDC, y'all, he is putting it into practice like with us. And then we're training him further and giving him more opportunities. And this is how it all works. And it goes for musical artists as well. Yes. So if you go to Netflix, there's a documentary there called Move. It's a 5-part series, and we are the first. Well, I'm a part of the first series on Netflix, and it's called Move. It's featuring MAI, which is a collective called Movement Art Is, and I am the writer and one of the creative directors for the show Move. For the show that Move is about. It's a show that we do called Love Heals All Wounds. And on that show, I'm the poet, the writer, and the director. And so Netflix just wanted to know more about our work. So they did a documentary on us, and then they did a documentary on 4 other organizations, like one in Jamaica and then one somewhere else. It's like different parts of the world. So go on there, watch Move. That's a part, Love Heals All Wounds. It's called Love Heals All Wounds. So yes, so you've got Isaac in the chat who goes to MDC studying film, who has been here filming and working around the clock. We had some technical difficulties, so he stayed here all through the night, right? So yeah, Isaac, MDC, BMDC, he is putting his stuff into practice. And then Out Loud Artistry here in the community, working, teaching artists how to utilize their gifts and talents to be a part of social change, and using that to assess the needs of their community and meet them. So that's what we do here in the community. We're located at 239 West Maury Drive, Homestead, Florida, 33030. If you go down Maury Drive and you know where Diaz is and Lucky Meat, we're the building connected right beside it. We have classes for students every Tuesday for 5:15, 6 o'clock, and 7. And so if you want to know more about that, you just go to artoffamily.org, and you'll find out all of our information on artoffamily.org. And you'll find more about how you can give or volunteer or whatever. And then also, I got some work on Hulu too. It's May I Have Your Attention, Please. Last Black History, last year we did a small series with Hulu. And it's May I Have Your Attention, Please. So if you want to go on Hulu, you'll see your girl on Hulu. You'll see your girl on Netflix. What's up? And I'm currently writing a play with the Public Theater out of New York. And hopefully we have our eyes set on Broadway. So yeah, that is and I like to just bring that gifting and that talent and those opportunities here to the city. So yeah. So guys, I think we're getting close. I know you're lying. You keep saying we're getting close. You keep saying we're getting close. So 1:30. So we want to make sure what you do this for. Yeah? Okay. So Lamont, we good?
So yes, we are good. So it's going to premiere right here. It is finishing up its upload. And so we are at 1:30. We're gonna go for 1:35. 1:35. So you invite your people, invite your friends. I got 17 people on here. Invite them to come check it out. It's going to be absolutely amazing. It's going to be worth the wait. All right. It's going to be worth the wait. So we just finished that. It is 1:26 now, 1:35. You can log on. It'll instantly premiere on that site. What was the name of the website again? It's www.artoffamily.org. www.artoffamily.org. But you will see the actual presentation right here on Outlier Artistry's YouTube page. So it's going to premiere right here, 1:35. And if you have any other questions, you can reach out. You can also reach out in the chat because there will be a live chat for the actual presentation. So there will be a live chat for the actual presentation. So please invite your friends, invite your cousins, your aunties, your brothers, your sisters.
Your whole family.
Everybody.
Everybody. ERRBODY. Everybody.
All right. So you invite everybody, reach out to the rest of the people on campus, let them know something big is going down.
And say one of your very own is responsible for making it happen. One of your very own. Okay. So make sure
is a student
you support. And Black for Women's History Month, everybody. That's right, Ms. Tolbert. And Black for Women's History Month next month, he's gonna be back working, making it happen. So supporting your own. So you guys, you got a little bit of time. Go get you something to eat. Get you something to drink. Get relaxed. The chat will be open when you're able to, when we're
and it'll be an instant premiere. All right. Hey, listen, God bless you guys. We're gonna end this stream so we can have the other one back up. Something big is really going down. So we can have them back up. We're going to end this stream and make sure you guys tune in, call your people, call your folks. All 16 of y'all that's on here now, come on, follow us. We need a double. Double up. Holla.